We are in Masechet Pessachim, Amud Yomi, Dirshu, Yud Aleph. We are at the bottom of Yud, Amud Bet. Today we're learning Yud Aleph. Everybody's with me? What did we say yesterday? Machloket, Tanakama, Chachamim, and Rabbi Yehuda. What did we say the machloket was? About bidikat chametz. You with me, God? We missed you. Are you with us? You followed?
I heard the...
Okay, great. Bidikat chametz. When should it be? On the night, the 14th at night. What happens if you didn't do it then? You do it in the next morning. You do it in the morning of the 14th. If you miss the 14th, you do it before the Zman of Biur Chametz. But what about you miss the Zman of Biur Chametz, the time of burning it? Can you do it in the Chag? Can you do it after the Chag? Machloket Rabbi Yehuda and Tanakama.
That was yesterday?
That was yesterday. That's what we said yesterday, right at the end. Very simple. And the Machloket of Rabbi Yehuda and Tanakama. Yes, everybody's with me? Robert, you with me?
Could you repeat what you said?
Yes. Bdikat Chametz. When is Bdikat Chametz? On the 14th at night.
Yeah.
If you miss the 14th at night for whatever reason, you wake up in the morning, can you do it in the morning? Yes, you can do it in the morning.
With the candle.
Okay, whether yes and you probably don't need a candle. Maybe you use a candle, maybe not. But let's say you use a candle. You miss that time. If you miss that time, when do you do it? You didn't do it right in the morning. Do it by 11 before the Zman of Biur Chametz. You miss that time, God. What do? So do you do it during Chol HaMoed? Or you don't do it during Chol? Do you do it after Pesach? Well, Rabbi Yehuda says no, you don't do it.
Oh my God.
You don't do it. You know why? Because if you're going to start, you did a bitul already, so it's not yours. But the thing is, if you're going to start checking that, you might eat it. You're going to, in the middle of Pesach, you're checking for chametz. Kids, everybody come together, let's check for the chametz. The kid found the wafer, he's going to eat the wafer. So don't check. Out of mind, out of sight, out of mind. Ignorance is bliss. Don't see it, no problem. That is Shitat Rabbi Yehuda. Why? Because you're involved in something that you're eating, that you could eat. You're so used to eating it, you might go ahead and eat it. But according to Chachamim, no, you better check it. Check it. It's more of a problem. You're allowed to check it according to Chachamim. Check it even during the Chag and even after the Chag, and that's the Halakha Maseh, by the way.
What do you do with it? You cover it.
You burn it. Depends. If it's Yom Tov, you cover it. If it's Chol HaMoed, you burn it. If it's after the Chag, you burn it. Okay, Machlokit.
Flush it, and
whatever you want. Now,
right?
now we're going to deal the whole Amud with Shitat Rabbi Yehuda and Chachamim about doing things when you could do an Isser. You have a mitzvah, or you're involved in something. Are you allowed to handle something? But by handling, you could do an avera. So Rabbi Yehuda says, don't check the chametz. You might do an avera. And Chachamim says, check for the chametz because you don't want to own the chametz.
So they're not scared that you're going to come to eat it.
They're not. Let's see why.
Yehuda is scared.
Exactly. Let's see why. Let's go to the bottom of Yud Aleph. Yud Amud Bet at the bottom, second last line. Last four words. Umi gazrinan. Rabbi Yehuda, din ma'ater michan mine. Does Rabbi Yehuda really make a gzera that when you might eat it, there's going to be a problem? We're going to find another situation where seemingly Rabbi Yehuda does not say that gzera. Vehatnan mishikarav haomer yotzin umotzin shuke Yerushalayim sheminim kemach bekali. So what happens is the omer is, what is the omer? You're not allowed to eat from the new harvest, from the new crop until the first day of Pesach. The first day of Pesach, where they're going to bring the korban, the second day of Pesach, let's say, the second day of Pesach in the morning, they're going to bring a korban. It's like bikurim. You got something new. You got new animals. You have to give the bechor to the kohen. You have the first fruits. You got to give the first fruits to the kohen. The first of the field, the first of the crop. We're going to start eating it. We're going to start eating the food from the new... no, you get it first to the Beit Mikdash. Bring the wheat, bring the barley, bring it to the Beit Mikdash. They're going to do a korban with it. And now the gates are open. You're allowed to do it. Now what happens is, the second that they brought it, that first day is Chol HaMoed. It's in Eretz Yisrael. It's the first day of Chol HaMoed of Pesach. So now they brought the Omer, right? They went, they cut, they brought it, they did the korban, they did everything, they did the ceremony. It's a wonderful thing. But what happens now? Now... as soon as that was over, you go to the market. What do you find? All kinds of new flour, and we're going to go with the shita that says flour that is roasted flour. You're finding all kinds of roasted flour. Question? Huh?
Non, l'autre aussi était là, je ne l'ai pas vu. Il fallait être pété pour les Romains.
Oh, he's talking to something. Okay. You find all kinds of flour, roasted flour, that's from the new crop. So what do you see? So what do we see over here? Who says that? Shelo birtzon chachamim. And that was not right, chachamim say. Divrei Rabbi Meir. Chachamim say, we weren't happy with this. You know why? Rabbi Yehuda omer, birtzon chachamim hayu osin. And chachamim say, no problem. Velo kagazar Rabbi Yehuda. Din ma'ater michan mineh. And Rabbi Yehuda does not make gzera. You're going to need, let's explain what we're talking about. To get flour, you got to cut the crop. And to get the crop, you got to cut it. And if you're going to cut it, you're going to be dealing with the kernels. With the kernels, you're gonna crush them up. You're going to grind them, and then you're going to take the flour. You're going to roast the flour. So now, what's happening all that time until the korban? To get flour ready for the store, ready for the market, ready for the shuk. How many weeks before you got to be cutting the flour and getting it ready? A few weeks before. So that means that the people, the vendors, were cutting the stalks. They were taking the kernels, they were crushing them up, and they were preparing them to be selling, but they're not allowed to eat them. So you see that who says this? Rabbi Yehuda. So Rabbi Yehuda says you're allowed to be involved with the new crop, even though it's not yet the time that you're allowed to eat it, and we're not scared that in the meantime you're going to take a little snack. So why is Rabbi Yehuda allowing you when it comes to Chadash and Yashan, but when it comes to Pesach, he's not allowing? And likewise, Chachamim say it's no good. Why did Chachamim say for Pesach, you're allowed to go during the Chag and look for the Chametz, even though you might eat it, and when it comes to the Chadash, you're not allowed to. So we have a contradiction in Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yehuda. We have a contradiction. They're exactly right. So we have a stira Rabbi Yehuda against Rabbi Yehuda, and stira Chachamim against Chachamim. So let's see what the Gemara says. The Gemara says, Amar Rava, Shaneh Chadash, Metoch Shelo Itarta Lo, and Alidei Kituf Uzachu. Chadash is very interesting. This is halakha. This is something we're going to change in 1 second. But you know, there's a few ways of cutting the stalks when it comes to the winter. When it comes to the harvest, how do you get it? You have what's called a magan. It's like a round, a little round knife, you know. And you come. It's a sickle. It's called a sickle. And you come into. You grab the grain. You cut them. You cut them. You cut them. You cut them. The only way you're allowed to cut the stuff. To cut it for the omer, you have to cut it with a sickle. Now, the way they were doing it, they were only doing it with a kituf. It seems to be like right now. It seems to be at this point that we're coming to harvest the new season. The first thing we have to do is bring the new barley to the Beit Mikdash. That you're allowed to come with a sickle and cut it. But you're not allowed, it seems at this point, which we're going to change, to cut anything else with a sickle. You have to take it with your hands. So really what was happening in the fields is the vendors, they were not cutting with the sickle the regular way. They were coming and plucking up the wheat. It's a lot more work, plucking up each stalk, all the stalks, and then they were preparing it to be sold. So since there is a shinui in the way they were doing it, they weren't doing it the regular way. Why are we not doing it the regular way? Abba, why are we not using the sickle? It's taking us double the time. Because this is to remind us, we're not really allowed to do it at the sickle, and this will serve as a reminder that we're not allowed to eat it. Since we're doing a shinui, so therefore there's no chashash. So that will explain Shitat Rabbi Yehuda.
But it's not comestible. You can't eat it yet. What is it's like you tell me I'm ripping, an unripe...
Actually, it seems to be at the Gemara over here, when the wheat is still soft in the fields, it's actually edible. When you get it to your place, the wheat kernel, you can't eat a wheat kernel. But at the beginning of the season, also there's different types of fruits. You eat fruits when they're ripe, when they're the thing. Here it's the opposite. The kernel, when it's ripe from the time of cutting it, you can actually chew a little kernel. Really? Yeah, it's not so hard. With the time, with the way it comes to your kitchen, it's already dried and it's very hard. You can't eat it anymore. But at the beginning, it's actually very edible. So since it is that you got to cut it with your hands, so now we see that there is a shinui, and since there's a shinui, you're not going to come to eat it. So that will reconcile at seemingly Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yehuda. When it comes to Pesach, you're just going around, you're looking for it. It's a regular Danish, a regular bislis. You're going to eat it. But when it comes to the wheat for the chadash, you're picking up with your hands. There's a shinui.
Rabbi, can you be that because the punish of transgressing Pesach is much harder than...
So it should be the opposite then. So then Rabbi Yehuda should be more machmir. Why? If it's such a big punishment, Rabbi Yehuda should allow you in Pesach, and you see that he doesn't. According to Rabbi Yehuda, we go with hergelut. Your regular thing is that you eat the Danish, you're going to eat it right now. But if there would be a shinui like there is for the Chadash, then there would be no problem. The Gemara says, Tinach... Amar li Abaye, tinach b'shat ketifa. Tichina ve'arkada ma'ikane memar. That is fine when it comes to plucking the wheats. But when it comes to grinding the wheats, that's regular. Okay, at the time where you're plucking, you're not going to eat it. But now you're finished plucking them. And it could be a few different people in the chain. This guy now is going ahead and he's grinding it and he's sifting it. You know what happens, right? We grind, and usually they would use a water mill or a windmill. They would go to the water. The river would put energy. That energy would be channeled into a grinder and would be grinding like a windmill. You never saw those windmills?
That's what a windmill does.
That's a windmill. We take that energy to be able to grind wheat. It's unbelievable. So now, okay, at the time of grinding, the guy's there. Maybe the guy that plucked the wheat and cut the wheat is one guy, and the guy grinding it is another guy. So the guy grinding it, he has no shinui, and he might come to eat it. And the guy sifting it, you know that after we grind the wheat, it's not yet refined. There's a lot of maybe coarse things inside. The shells are still there. So we got to sift it. We take a sifter. It was a lot of work to get bread. So here, what shinui do we have? So the Gemara says, Halo kasha, tichina berichaya diyad, ve'arkada alidei nafa. Al-gav nafa. They would do a shinu over there as well. Usually you use the windmill, but here what they would use is the hand mill. The hand mill is a lot of work. You do it with your hand. You turn it by hand. You go to Pesach, when you go to buy the matzot, sometimes they have the grinding by hand. You ever go see it? It's a lot of work. So since there's a shinui, a different way of doing it during the regular way of the year and the time for the Omer, since the year we use the windmill and we use the regular sifter, here we're going to use the hand grinder and we're going to use the sifter upside down. We're going to take the sifter, we're going to put it upside down, we're going to use it. It's another shinui. So since according to Rabbi Yehuda, you have so many shinuyim, you're going to remind yourself.
That's your
But the end result is still the same. You see, even if I do shinui,
We just don't want you to eat it in the meantime. You're working in to take a snack. You're working in the bakery.
But the one that's in the markets, because the culture.
It only opens at the market once we bought the korban. You're allowed to eat it by then.
Yeah.
So imagine the guy.
So the market is not selling before you.
No, that's what we said. They said at the beginning. When they bring the korban, so what's happening over here?
Okay.
You have that 1 month before, only the professionals and the employees are preparing the items. According to Rabbi Yehuda, they do that over the shinui. You with me, Chaim? They do everything with the shinui. Since they do it with the shinui, they're not going to come to eat in the middle. Be careful, you're not allowed to eat over here. However, when it comes to the market, it only comes up after the korban, and they bring it out, and it's already allowed to be eaten by everybody.
Why would the Chachamim not permit?
Chachamim are still scared of Islam. We're going to see the answer in a few seconds. Very good question. The Gemara says, there's another problem with that. The Gemara says there's a problem. What is the problem? Elahad itznan. Kotzchin bebeta shelachim usheba'amakim avelo godshin. There's actually another braita that says, actually, what I told you before about not being allowed to cut with the sickle is not always true. There are two types of fields. There's two types of fields. There is the field which is really good mishubach crop, that wheat you're going to bring for the Bet Mikdash, and there's ones that are not well irrigated, or ones that are in valleys. It's not good fields, and the produce that comes from there is not choices. You know, today in Eretz Yisrael, it's the best fruits in the world. They ship them to all over the world. You have different places, it's not good fruits, it's not good wheat. So we have wheat, that's the quality wheat, you can't use a sickle. But the wheat that's second quality, grade 2, you're allowed to use a sickle. So I understand the good quality wheat, but the guy using the other field where he's using non-good quality wheat, what do you have to say about him? He's going to be cutting it with the sickle and he's going to come to eat. There's no shinui over there. The only thing you're not allowed to do is you're not allowed to make piles over there, so you can't make a shinui. So actually we changed everything we just said, because there was places where you're allowed to use a sickle. In a second quality field, you're allowed to use a sickle, and there's no shinui. So the guy preparing it's going to come to eat it. So what's the answer according to Rabbi Yehuda?
What's a second quality field?
I was telling you what you were schmoozing. But the second quality field, a second quality field,
You're going to get a second quality after
a second quality field is
Students at the end of the class.
when it is out in sunny place and the rain is falling good on that place, that's a good quality field. But when there's no rain that has access to that place because it's covered by something and you got to come and irrigate it yourself, that's not going to come out good because you don't have as much power as the Hashamayim as the thing. Okay, so now we see that there is places where you're allowed to. There are places where you're allowed to cut, so there's no shinui. So answer Abaye says the answer. This is what we're going with. Chametz lo badin mineh. However, when it comes to chadash badin mineh, what does it mean? Chametz, you're always eating it. Since you ate for 355 days a year bagels and bislis and cookies, when you're checking for chametz, you're going to forget and eat the cookie. But when it comes to chadash, you know, nope, don't eat this until Pesach. It's asur. It's a big punishment. You're not to eat it. This is something we don't touch. Something we don't touch, according to Rabbi Yehuda, that's no problem. Something we're used to having. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, we go with your status quo. What are you regular? What are you used to doing? You're used to eating it. That's a problem. You're not used to eating it. It is a problem. That's reconciling Rabbi Yehuda. Chachamim, we still have to see in 1 second how to reconcile Chachamim.
What's the punishment for eating chadash?
It's probably a lotase. But again, we're going with regularity. Lotase means makot. We're going with regularity, and regularity
Most
means...
people don't observe Chadash.
Okay, so why do we not observe Chadash? Really, Sfaradim, if you guys are going to stay with me enough time, we're going to be changing a lot of things. V'ezrat Hashem. One is Bishul Yisrael, one is Chadash. Chadash is a very serious halacha. It's a Torah prohibition, and only according to one posek Ashkenaz that it doesn't apply in Chutz La'aretz. And even today, it's not so true. But Sfaradim, we should really be following Chadash. Sfaradim, all the strong communities that developed in America, they all hold Chadash. Yashar.
Sfaradim should not touch anything else but Bet Yosef.
Okay, it's very good, but Bet Yosef is still a D'Rabanan. Bishul Israel, Bishul Bet Yosef is D'Rabanan. Chadash is
Shchita.
Oh, Shchita as well. Yes, we have a lot of things that because we're in a minority in the community and we're going with the Ashkenaz Hechsherim, so we have less community services, but it's changing. Right now, the Sephardi communities are coming very strong. In New York, in Brooklyn, in Deal and all that, they're super strong.
Lakewood is all Bet Yosef.
Lakewood, and here in Montreal, it's picking up. There's a new division in Vadhir of the Sephardi division, because they realize if they didn't incorporate us, we're going to make our own thing. So better to work with us, or we're going to have to do our own, because our communities are getting strong. We have a lot more koledim, we have a lot more rabbanim, yeshivot are upcoming. Our shuls are full. So and we're just 30 years late. They came to America 30 years before us. We came 30 years later. So it's just a matter of time till we catch up, and we're getting there, B'ezrat Hashem. So Chadash is a very important halacha, and this year we're going to work on it to be able to start stocking up. And it's really time now to speak about it. That comes after Sukkot, so winter time, December, that's the really time we got to stop, because that's when it starts to become an issue. Anyways, that is the opinion of Abaye for Rabbi Yehuda. The Gemara says, the Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Rava, the Rabbi Yehuda kasha. The Rabbanan no kasha. Okay, you solved the Rabbi Yehuda. Now Shaul's question, what about Chachamim? The Rabbi Yehuda kasha kiddushaninan. Okay, so Abaye will answer yes. What we just said now about Rabbi Yehuda, we just answered it. The Rabbanan no kasha. Who atzmo mehazer alav lesofo michan kachin mine? What is he doing? He's taking a candle to go burn chametz. If his mindset and his directive is to burn, you think he's going to start eating it? He's not going to eat it. So there's two ways of looking at it. Rabbi Yehuda looks at what have you been doing till now. Till now, how do we look at it? And they both make sense. Till now, you have been eating chametz, and so you're going to slip. You're going to catch yourself and eat chametz. However, chadash, you were never eating chadash, so you're not going to eat chadash. So prepare the chadash. However, chachamim say no. If it's something that be'etzim you're dealing with food, you always have a fear you're going to eat it. Whether you ate it yesterday, we don't care about yesterday. We care about now. What are you doing now? Now you're preparing food to be eaten. Now you're preparing you're roasting the flour to be able to sell it. You might eat it, but now you're going to burn. You're going to burn. You're not going to eat it. So there's two ways of looking at it. Chachamim look at now. What are you doing now? Now you're involved in preparing food. You might eat it. And according to Rabbi Yehuda, we look at what was yesterday. Yesterday you didn't eat, you're not going to eat today. Yesterday you ate, you might eat today. Let's go back to Rav Ashi is going to give a different opinion, and the Gemara is going to say Badutai. No, it's a mistake. Whoever wrote it in the name Rav Ashi was not true. So what we just said till now is the real answer, okay? So this is the two shitot. You guys got Rabbi Yehuda, you got Chachamim. Now the Gemara is going to say, according to Rav Ashi, I'm going to give another answer for Rabbi Yehuda, and the Gemara is going to push away. It's going to say a Baduta. Baduta means by definition, it's mistaken. Rav Ashi couldn't have said that. Whoever recorded in the name of Rav Ashi must have made a mistake. Rav Ashi amar, de Rabbi Yehuda la kasha, kemech vekanitnan. We're talking about flour. It's roasted flour. Really, it says kemach v'kali, two different things. But according to us, because of a kusha we have over here, some Rishonim say it's roasted flour. Okay, so we're gonna go with that. Roasted flour you can't eat. The guy's selling roasted flour. How do you want it to eat? There's nothing. It's roasted flour. He's roasting flour. You eat flour, you don't eat it. So there's no problem of eating. How will he reconcile Rabbi Yehuda? Chametz you eat, flour you don't eat. So that's the answer for Rabbi Yehuda. The Gemara doesn't like it. You guys got it? Ha Ravashi bedutai. The Gemara says, Ha di Ravashi beduti. That's a mistake. Hatinach kali ve'elach. Mikari ve'elach. Okay, that's good once it's roasted. Mikara ad kari mai kari memar. But at the beginning you can eat them. At the beginning you're allowed to eat the kernel when you're cutting them. They're edible. So once it's flour, understand you can eat it. But all the process before it gets the flour, you might eat it. Okay, maybe you're saying, going to say the sickle. They're not cutting it with the sickle, they're cutting it with the hand. Like we said, that when you're taking the choicey wheat, the choicey from the good quality fields, you're taking it with your hand. That's fine. At a kotzrin, that's good for the choicey one. But grade B, grade C, when you're allowed to do it with the sickle, there you have a problem. So it must be the Rav Ashi is a mistake. Rav Ashi wanted to reconcile the contradiction we just had by saying like this: Chametz, you can't check during Pesach because you might eat it. However, when it comes to the Chadash, you're allowed to, because we're talking about flour. That's good for flour, but what about the time where it's before flour? You're not going to eat flour. But when it's just a little kernel, a wheat kernel, you can eat it. And in the choicey field where you're cutting with the hands, that's okay. I understand that there's a shinoi, but in the one that's grade B, grade C, where you're cutting with the sickle, you might go ahead and eat it. So it must be Rav Ashi is a mistake, and the Gemara confirms with that. The Gemara concludes with that. The Gemara continues. Mi gazar. Okay. Mi gazar Rabbi Yehuda. Let's talk about Rabbi Yehuda now. Rabbi Yehuda says when you are not used to using it, when yesterday you weren't using it, there's no problem to do it today. Yesterday you were eating chadash, there's no problem to prepare chadash today. Is that true for Shitat Rabbi Yehuda? When you were used to using it yet, when you were used to using it yesterday, it's a problem for Rabbi Yehuda. Vatnan, you know this Mishnah. Lo yikom adam shefoferet shel beitza v'imanena shemer v'itnena b'tzad haner b'shvil shenitem min hatefet v'ahilu shel cheres v'Rabbi Yehuda matir. You're going to read it tonight. What are we going to read? You know what they used to do? They used to have a candle. So imagine over here is my candle. Okay, this candle is burning. I forgot to put my. Put this in over here.
Won't work.
Huh? It's not gonna work. Okay. Okay, so imagine that you have a candle. So imagine this is my candle. Okay, the flame is over here. Now there's a limited amount of oil in this bowl. The flame is here. There's a little bowl with a flame. You have a wick. I want more oil in here, but I don't have enough. So what do? You take an eggshell and you put the eggshell over here and you put a little hole. You fill it up, and so therefore it's going to be dripping constantly, adding oil to the candle. There's no problem to do that. Why there's no problem to do that? What is the problem? Since it's oil, and since you need oil for your salad, you might go ahead and take the oil. So now if the candle could have lit for 5 hours, and you remove oil, now it's going to light for 2 hours, you just did what's called mechaber Shabbat. You just extinguish the candle. That's what's assumed to do it. Now what about if this is, okay, I understand an eggshell, it's very good, and it's clean, and it's nice, but what about if it's cheres? Cheres is pottery, it's dirty, it's mold, it's slimy. You're not going to drink that. You're not going to use it for your salad. So Rabbi Yehuda
Permits.
Afilu shel cheres, Rabbi Yehuda matir, and Rabbi Yehuda allows. He allows you to put it over there because we're not scared. You're going to take the oil. You're going to see it over there. You're never going to come to take the oil that's being used for your candle. On Shabbat. All this on Shabbat. Yeah. So you understand what we're talking about? So why Rabbi Yehuda does not seem to be consistent right now? Because Rabbi Yehuda told us anything you did yesterday, you used oil yesterday, you might take the oil now. Why are you not scared of Rabbi Yehuda? Rabbi Yehuda, you told me if I was eating bagels yesterday, I can't check for the chametz today. Because I was used to doing something, I'm going to continue to do it. And here I use oil all the time. So why are you not scared that my eggshell over here, when I'm missing oil from my salad, from my za'atar, from my bread, I might take the little container of oil. You know, so we have a kusha and Rabbi Yehuda. So the Gemara answers, Atam, first big lines, Mishum Chumra de Shabbata. Because they were talking about it's so serious Shabbat. Shabbat, by people, they feel Shabbat Kodesh. Don't play around. People are even making up isurim that don't exist on Shabbat. They're adding things that don't exist. It's asur, it's asur. Many times it's not asur. Here it is asur, so the guy's going to say, don't touch it, it's mukseh, don't touch it. Because of the fear of Shabbos, so nobody's going to go ahead and take it. That's Shitat Rabbi Yehuda. So now we have something extra for Rabbi Yehuda. We have another qualification of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda holds, if you were doing something daily, and we're coming now to the moment, it's funny, huh? People are more scared of Shabbos than Pesach, according to this. For whatever reason. People are so, you're used to using oil, but it comes Shabbos, nobody's going to touch it. You're used to in chametz, the isur of chametz?
But it's more frequent also.
More
Shabbat.
frequent, maybe. People maybe don't realize the severity of Pesach. I think you're saying a good answer. Since Shabbat is every week, whereas Pesach is once a year, so therefore it might be true. Birami Shabbat the Shabbat. Okay, now based on that, we're almost at the end. We have another question. Now we're going to try to understand, it seems to be contradicting Shitas in Chachamim and Rabbi Yehuda when it comes to Shabbat itself. What did we just say? For Shabbat, what's Shitat Rabbi Yehuda? You're allowed to use the oil because you're scared of Shabbos. What's Shitat Chachamim? No, you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to use the oil. So let's think about Shitat Chachamim. What did they say on Pesach? Check. Because you're going to burn it. You understand? Now you're going to burn, there's no problem. When it comes to Chadash, don't use it. You're not allowed to Chachamim. Because you're now involved in eating. When it comes to Shabbat, you might take it to eat. You're not going to take the oil to burn the oil, so it's asur. So now we understand Shitat Chachamim, we understand Shitat Rabbi Yehuda.
Chachamim say the same thing with the eggshell being dirty?
No, even that they're scared you're going to take
Even
it.
that.
You have some guy, you know the joke, Reuven? There was three guys, three Moroccans. They were drinking wine together, and there's all kinds of flies over there and bugs. So there was one guy from Casablanca, very aristocratic, fancy people, and there was from
Tangier.
And there was one from Mogador, and there was one from Meknes. So the bug went in the wine, and the guy from Casablanca, he took the wine, he said, he took the whole thing, he threw it on the floor. Disgusting. The guy from Mogador, he looked at it, he took the bug, he threw the bug, he drank the wine. And the guy from Meknes, he took the bug, he said, Michapa'ont, kash. He said, spit it out the wine. Some people don't care if there's a wine in the bug, they're gonna eat it. Some people don't care. Some people, if a bug comes near the cup, it goes on the tip of the cup, they're throwing out the whole thing. So you have a guy that he doesn't care. The oil's there, a dirty bowl, he doesn't care. Nobody's looking. By the way, if you go to restaurants, that's what you're eating. When it comes to your plate, it looks beautiful, nice, but you think it didn't fall on the floor in the kitchen?
For sure.
No flies.
Masim b'kol yom. You think they have time to do another one? The Balabat's going to throw it out. What did we say before? Out of sight, out of mind. Ignorance is bliss. Don't tell me about it. If you don't want to eat clean, eat at home. Okay, the Gemara continues. So now we're going to know Siyas Shita. It's true, right? Shalom, not right?
The days when you were allowed to smoke at work, I used to work in a bakery.
Oh, yeah, very.
The chief baker, how many times the ashes fell into the dough.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't realize what they do in the back. So for sure there's
Oh, yeah. I wonder if he himself would eat it. He wouldn't eat the stuff he made.
Who?
The baker would eat his own things, or he wouldn't eat it?
They don't care. It's not for you. It's the production that they sell.
Yeah.
And
Okay. So now we're going to try to see. Now we understand Shita Rabbi Yehuda and we understand Shita Chachamim, but seemingly there's going to be a contradiction over here. You guys have the rules. Let's review the rules we said till now. Shita Rabbi Yehuda. We look at yesterday. Yesterday you were eating the food. We're scared you're going to eat it now. There's an exception. Shabbat Kodesh, because Shabbat is so severe and it's all the time. You will not eat it. So that is Shabbat Kodesh, and if you weren't eating it, so let's see that Shabbat Kodesh. Oh, they canceled the Zoom. We're going to have to do this. There's a timer on the Zoom, right? Only lasts for 40 minutes.
Yeah, the free version is only good for...
Oh, they're not even letting me start now for another 9 minutes.
No, you cannot. The minute you pass the time, it stops.
That's a
free
good
version.
way. That's a good way of selling it.
That's how they get you to pay the...
Okay, let's review Shitat Rabbi Yehuda. When it comes to chametz on Pesach, we're scared you're going to eat it because you're eating it yesterday. When it comes to chadash, you weren't eating it yesterday, you're not going to eat it now when you're preparing. When it comes to Shabbat, you were eating the oil yesterday, you're still allowed to light your candle with that oil because you're not going to eat it because of the fear of Shabbos Kodesh. When it comes to Shitat Chachamim, anything that you're preparing now for food, you're not allowed. When it comes to Chadash, you're not allowed. When it comes to Shabbat, you're not allowed. But if you're going to go burn it, then you are allowed. So now we understand Shitat Chachamim is what are you doing now? Are you burning it or you're preparing it for food? Asr. And Shitat Rabbi Yehuda is what is yesterday, just the exception of Shabbat Kodesh. Now there's a question on this, huh?
There's a question because we're saying that this is happening during Chol HaMoed. This whole question is, but it's during Chol HaMoed.
Of the Pesach, it could be Yom Tov or it could be Chol HaMoed, it could be after Pesach.
Okay, so in any case, they already started the Pesach, so they're already eating matzah, they're not eating chametz.
You're right, but since you eat it all year, you're right, you're saying a good thing. You eat it all year, and you're saying a good question. But let's go with that. Meaning you always eat it. You're eating it 355. Let's continue. Virami shab de Shabbat de Shabbat. Detanya. Chevel deri shenifsak lo yekoshro ena onvo. So imagine now that you have a bucket of water, and the water you need to take the water from the well that's in the bottom of the well, and you have the string of the deli the string of the bucket, it broke. So now what do you want to do? You need to get water. So what do? Lo yekoshro ena onvo. You don't tie the knot between the two parts of the string. What you do is you make a bow between them. Because don't forget, making a knot, this is important. A knot on Shabbat is isur doraita when you plan to leave it there forever. That's called kesher shel kayama. If you're making a knot that you will undo, it's not asur. Now we don't do that, de Rabbanan. But a knot that you plan to undo today is not a problem. A knot that you're going to leave for 30 days, 7 days, 30 days, or forever, it's isur doraita. Okay, let's say like that to make it simple. So now your bucket fell. Your bucket's broke. You need to get water on Shabbat. So you take the string, and you don't use the string. Oh, you came just in time.
Connection broke.
Yeah, the Zoom. The string now is broken. You don't make a knot in the string according to Chamim. You make an aniva, you make a bow, and there's no problem to do that. Even the bow is very similar to making a knot. Well, if you're making a bow, you might come to make a knot. And you see, still the Chachamim are not scared about that. You're involved in something that could very easily get you come to do an isur. And you see Chachamim are not saying it's a sur. So that's a kushya Chachamim against Chachamim. Or is that right? Chachamim should say, you're always making knots. You might make a knot now by making a bow. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, korech Rav Punda upiskaya. According to Rabbi Yehuda, it's even more strict. You don't even make a bow. What you do is you just wrap around it a punda or piskaya. Please tell me what it says punda there in English. He says it's a belt. You're going to use a belt. Piskaya is, like you know the Hasidic belts. You ever saw them with their socks, their long socks?
A hollow belt or garter.
A hollow belt. You know, they have like a string that's like a shoelace that they wrap around their calf in order to hold the sock up. You ever saw it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they tie it around. So you're allowed to use that. You're allowed to use your belt, or you're allowed to use those things. What is the reason Rabbi Yehuda saying you're allowed to do that? And you can't even make a bow with it. You're allowed to use that because we're assuming you're not going to leave it there. Because you need your belt tomorrow, and you need your shoelace tomorrow. So Rabbi Yehuda's extra machmir. Rabbi Yehuda saying you can't even do an aniva. You can't even do a bow with it. Ubidvad shelo yanvenu. Kasha de Rabbi Yehuda ade Rabbi Yehuda. Kasha de Rabbanan ade Rabbanan. So now we have a problem, Rabbi Yehuda against Rabbi Yehuda. What did Rabbi Yehuda tell us? Shabbat is so strict. You're very scared of Shabbos. So you're not going to take the oil. But here, you're going to put even if you do an aniva, which is only a derabanan, you're not allowed to do it because you might come to make the knot. Why? Aren't you scared of Shabbat Kodesh? And a kasha derabanan and derabanan. Rabbi Yonan said you're allowed to make an aniva, but when it came to the candle, Chachamim said you can't use the oil. The Gemara says, derabanan na kasha. Shemen b'shemen michlaf. Aniva b'kshira no michlaf. Chachamim will answer like this. Oil and oil is the same thing. Use oil for your salad. There's oil over here for the candle. It's interchangeable. You might take it. But making a bow and making a knot is not all the same thing. If you're making a bow, you will never come to make a knot because that's completely two different things. And you can understand that. A bow is not a knot and a knot is not a bow. So making a bow won't be a problem. you're never going to come to make a knot. De Rabbi Yehuda la kasha. Tama de Rabbi Yehuda la mishum gazar aniva tu kshira, mishum de kasvar aniva gufa kshira hi. No, really, according to Rabbi Yehuda, really you're scared of Shabbos. But he holds that a bow is actually a knot. We said before a knot is Isur Doraita. But what if I tell you that Rabbi Yehuda holds that a bow is a knot? So that's Isur Doraita.
If you have 7 days to remember, wouldn't it be different than the oil? Once the oil is gone, it's gone. But here you said you have 7 days, so you have all that time to
Yeah,
remember.
that's how Chanim
Are you going to Rabbi Yehuda or are you going to Chachamim?
Exactly, no, because Rabbi Yehuda doesn't even hold that.
Because Rabbi Yehuda holds that a bow is actually a knot.
It's a knot, so he doesn't.
That's why.
Should I repeat this? You guys got it.
Yeah.
One more time?
I like it.
You guys got it? You got it? Everybody's good? Let's go back to Ve'rami de Rabbanan de Rabbanan. Okay, now we're going to ask another question on Shitat Chachamim. Detnan, koshrin deri bepiskaya, avelo becheven. Here is Chachamim himself. Chachamim are saying, you're allowed to make a knot on your rope of your bucket, bepiskaya, with a belt, avelo becheven, but not with a rope. Ve'Rabbi Yehuda matir, and Chachamim let you make a knot with the rope. Chever demai. What's happening here? We're just saying the opposite.
Exactly.
We just mixed up everything. This is another braita. What rope is this that you're talking about? If you want to say it's a regular rope, Rabbi Yehuda matir kesher shel kayamahu. If it's a regular rope, you're going to leave it there. It's a kesher shel kayamahu doraita. It can't be that the rope we're talking about here is a real rope, because Rabbi Yehuda would never let you make a real knot. That's for sure. And Abshita de Gardi, we're talking about a rope of a weaver. A guy who sews, you know, the guy who's sewing, he's knitting wool sweaters. So now he has his wool strings that he needs to sew with. What does it say over there, Galdi?
It's a weaver's rope.
A weaver's rope that he uses it to work. So you're allowed to use that and make a knot with it. Why? Because you're for sure going to undo it as soon as Shabbos is over. So it's not a kesher shekayma.
It says it's not fit for regular use in a well, so he will not leave it tied to the
You're never going to lose there. It's not good. It's not going to work well.
He's worried about that you put in one that's in the state.
Here, you're not going to leave it, so you're allowed to undo it.
Yeah,
Chachamim say no. But at Apshita de Garde, Vegazu Rabbanan de Chever de Gardi, Atu Chever de Alma. So Chachamim say you can't do a knot with that, because if I let you make a knot with that, you're going to make a knot with a regular one. And Chachamim de Alma, in Chever de... Let's read that again. Rabbanan Chever de Gardi, at Vegazu Rabbanan Chever de Gardi, Atu Chever de Alma. Chachamim are going to put a gzera on the weaver's rope that you might use a regular rope if I'd let you do with this. Vegazu Rabbanan Chever de Gardi, Chever de Alma. The Gemara says, and the Gemara says, and Chachamim are putting a gzera. Yes, they are. You told me before the Chachamim say you're allowed to make a bow. So you're not scared that you're going to make a bow, they're going to make a knot. But why here you're scared? Yes, knot will be confused with a knot, but bow will not be confused with a bow. So we just repeat that one more time to be clear. According to Chachamim, when it comes to Shabbat Kodesh, when it comes to knots, an aniva will never be a bow. That's why you're allowed to make a bow for your shoe. You make a bow for your shoe, you're never going to come to make a knot with that, so make the bow for your shoe. But if you're going to use a string that's not going to stay there, you're going to take it away, you're going to take away Musa Shabbos because it's only for weaving, well, next week, when your regular string breaks, you're going to make a knot with a regular string. So that's why Chachamim say no, and Chachamim say, we're not going to put a gzera on something that you're going to undo, on something you're going to undo. We're not going to say you can't do this because something that you might leave there for the future. Rabbi Yehuda does not make that gzera. We'll stop here. Chazak.